call research is all about. We also discussed about what is the basic difference you can say between the qualitative research and the quantitative research. We also discussed that, okay, how the qualitative research has evolved over the period of time. What are the various methodologies you can say overview I have given that, okay, these are the types of qualitative research which are generally being taken. Apart from that, we also discussed what are the various ways of collecting the data and which are the most prominent one. And I little bit emphasize more on the phenomenological studies. So today we're going to discuss about the qualitative research method, and apart from that, I will also going to discuss that, okay, how with the help of you can say AI, we can formulate the qualitative you can say the research method that as per whatever the topic I'm working upon. So which will be the most suitable, but ultimately it is the researcher's brain you can say that has to ultimately take a decision and take a call that, okay, which methodology you can say will going to suit best as per my requirement, or you can say as per the ongoing research or the whatever the future research I want to take. So when I talk about the introduction to the qualitative research, once again, just to make it little easier for everyone. So I talked about that basically when I talk about the call research is all about exploring, you can say, the human experiences, about the behaviors, and about the social context through non-numerical data. And we discussed that largely we collect the data through observation, we collect the data through, you can say, interviews, right? We are collecting the data, you can say the published reports have been there. At times we are going for the newspapers, you can, whatever you can say, the news which has been published. And then we used to analyze it, and then finally we try to identify, you can say, the particular themes, or you can say the phenomena, the underlying phenomena. And from that, depending upon the type of research, at times we used to go and want to study, you can say, at times to know about the communities, that is largely been done with the ethnographic studies. At times I want to understand the phenomena. At times I want to, you can say predict, or I want to propose, you can say a theory, which is, you can just think, which is the underlying, you can say, in the data that we have collected, right? It could be a case method through which I can collect it. So largely the purpose is very clear that I want to gain in-depth insights and I want to gain that understanding so that I can understand the underlying phenomena, that, okay, if a certain thing is happening, then why this is happening. So largely the question is here, why is happening, all right? And what is going on, and what could be the implication of the same, right? So basically, we are focusing largely on meaning and interpretation, and it is largely flexibility has been there in exploratory nature, because you can say the nothing is you can say is been written or nothing is available, because you can say at times the topic that I want to research upon, you can say I don't have any prior research to that, or you can say, so definitely I want to expose something novel, something new. Now moreover, when I talk about the context, so context becomes very very crucial, you can say, in the qualitative research, as we have discussed yesterday also, that context dependent analysis, right? So whatever the qualitative research, as I discussed about my own research, so I said that, okay, I did research on whistleblowing intentions of nurses in India, right? So I am only focusing on the whistleblowing intentions. I'm focusing only on nurses, right? Now it can be a particular geographic location, you can say, where I want to understand it. So definitely I want, so every research is context based, and that is why the major limitation you can say of any research is that in case you cannot generalize it for everyone, right? So this is a limitation. In case you want to generalize it, then you have to, you can say, move to the next part, that is a quantitative tattoo with a larger sample size, depending that what kind of respondents you are taking into consideration. Now moving ahead, when I talk about the qualitative research, so I'm talking about the investigative approach, you can say, that somewhere is helping me to understand and interpret the social phenomena, subjective experiences, because see, your experiences, I'll give you one simple example here. Now, I am the one resource person who is facilitating this particular FDP, right? Now, many of you might be liking, you can say, the way I'm delivering, but there might be some people who might not be liking it. They might be expecting something else. So you can say one resource person, but the experience with that person is very, very different. Agree? You can just put your responses in the chat, in the chat itself. So subjective experiences. Now, moreover, some people used to draw different kind of meanings out of it. Am I right? We all are very different human beings. We all have a different kind of mindset. Our behaviors are very, very different. So definitely experiences, meanings, and perspectives, you can say, are largely very different. So that actually qualitative research is helping me to understand that. Now, when I'm exploring, you can see the depth. Now, see, I want to understand that, okay, why people are behaving in such a manner, why they are behaving in insane manner, why they are, what happened all of a sudden. Like right now in Indore, you can say the Traders Association, they have said that, okay, we would like to boycott, you can say the China, the clothes which are made in China and in Bangladesh. Now, all of a sudden there can be a question in a researcher's mind that they are doing their businesses from so long, they are earning quite good margins out of it. So what happened, you can say, all of a sudden, you can say, or you can say, is it was boiling, you can say it was under the sheets. So they would like to understand कि पहले तो नहीं हुआ है, but why such things are happening right now? What has happened that such kind of harsh decision has been taken or tough decisions have been taken, right? So now I want to understand what is the reason for that. So somewhere I want to understand the depth, I want to understand the complexity, because it's very difficult to understand the human behavior, their attitude, and the way they interact, you can say, rather than quantifiable measurements, because that is a cause and effect, causal relationships have been there. And that is why at times I am largely dependent on interviews and observation and the analysis of the textual or the visual data. So at times I can take a video and I can actually make a meaning out of it, and together rich and the detailed insights. Now the examples you could, as I've given, is grounded theory. So it helps me to allow patterns and themes to emerge from the data rather than imposing preconceived theory. So I'm not putting any particular theory, all right, in the research itself, but there is some new theory which is emerging from the data itself. When I start analyzing it, that why such things is happening. When I talk about the ethnographic, as I told you, it is all about the study about the communities, about particular culture. So in ethnography, the researcher becomes part of the community itself. Or you can say becomes a part of that social group, so that they can understand their behavior, their belief system, their values through participant observation. So they very much become part of the group itself. Now, for example, I want to understand that, okay, how did the Khasis tribes in India, for example, they stay, they live, what kind of rituals they are having, right? I want to understand the tribal behavior. Now we are having so many tribes in India. So I just want to understand a particular behavior. So what I'm doing, I'm just going there and staying with them. So in that way, what I'm doing, I'm trying to understand and try to make some sense out of, you can say, their behavior, their belief system, and the value system through participant observation. Like for example, in Uttarakhand, like we in Mahabharata, we all have studied and we all know that the okay Draupadi was having 5 husbands. Now in Uttarakhand also there is one tribe which is having this, you can say, I will say, ritual where a woman is married to 2 or 3 brothers, and this is very common in that particular, you can say, community. Now you might be saying that, okay, we are staying in 2025. This is not that Mahabharata age. So why such kind of rituals have been there? So many people would like to understand that, okay, why they are still following that such kind of rituals. You can say what is driving their behavior, their belief system, and why they're doing so, right? Now, for example, there was a recent research on the LGBT community, right? And that was that, okay, the people who are working in the corporate sector in India, okay, so what kind of experiences they are having over there? All right. For example, if they're disclosing their identity, for example, so what are the repercussions? I could try to understand that. So somewhere you can say these are certain topics, certain things which are largely not been researched, and somewhere I would like to understand. Like I gave you one example yesterday also. Like, why are there any? Is there any domestic violence against men? So many said, yeah, that it has been there, but do we have sufficient proofs? Do we have sufficient judgments? So you won't find many. And when you would like to research on such kind of topics, definitely to find the participants, you can say, or you can say the respondents become very, very difficult, right? So these are certain things that at times it happens. Now, just moving ahead, Now, what is the importance? Like, for example, in healthcare, largely we try to use the, you can say the qualitative research. So it is helping understanding patterns of patients, right? Their choices, their perspective, their illness experiences, their design health interventions, right? And develop healthcare theories. Now, providing a deeper, you can say, understanding of patient experiences, so that will going to help me to, you can say, customize, you can say, the better policies, you can say, better patient care mechanisms, you can say, better policies. I can identify the gap in healthcare. I can better support, you can say, the patient centered care. I can enhance the effectiveness, you can say, of interventions. And we help in addressing the health disparities also, that okay, what kind of you can say facilities which have been available. So somewhere the lot of research has been taken care, you can say, in every field. And largely when I gave you the reference of Smith and Osborne, so largely they have conducted, you can say, their studies in the healthcare sector itself. And now we are largely using the qualitative research in the management in the other areas also, so that we can understand, you can say, because it helps to back up your strategic decision. See, everything is not driven by data. By data, when I'm talking about the numbers, right? So everything is not driven by number itself. So somewhere to deep dive into that, okay, that why such kind of results are coming. All right. So causal results I'm getting from quantitative, but if I really want to understand, okay, why this kind of relationship is coming, is there something deep into it? Is there any such kind of reason that such kind of results have been coming in? So why such things are happening? So that can be helped. Now, evolution when I talk about, so that is why I'm doing it. So phenomenology has been there, ethnography is there. So it is detailed and efficiency is also increasing. These are the most traditional method, right? I am also getting continuous feedback loop, and moreover, with the help of the AI powered methods, what is the benefit I am getting? The benefit is that I am getting the real time insights. So that is why AI is largely now, you can say, becoming very integral part, you can say, of the call research and the quant research both, so that we can get the better insights, we can have the better decision making, and we are having better results that can help us to make, you can say, the better results. Now, when again help to big picture can be seen, like for example, consumer habits I want to understand. So somebody asked me yesterday about the mixed method research, right? So there, why we are going for mixed method, where I am combining both, right? So at times there can be triangulation of this also. So there are three ways through which I can triangulate. So for example, want to take data from three sources. First is qualitative, quantitative, and third is the published research, that is a literature review. So that could be one triangulation. All right. Now I am using here two methodologies. If I'm adding one more, so that is again the triangulation in the data analysis techniques. So you can say the triangulation can be at the various levels, and largely these are the very much appreciated, you can say, the research methods in today's time. So somewhere it helps me to uncover the perception and the motivations and the attitude and the trends. Also it help me to gather verbal and the open-ended data. Now, quantitative research is somewhat trying to help me to give me the numerical records of empirical data, confirm or reject the subjective findings, or you can say the hypothesis that I have framed for my research. And then I try to generalize data from the large sample population. So see, when I'm combining both qual and quant, the best part is what is happening. So I can see the causal relationship, but why this relationship is coming in a certain way, that I can easily get it from call research. I hope this is clear. So in case you are having any query till now, please just post it in your chat bot, and I will just take the queries. Okay, can we really believe AI insights after it's not human? No, you cannot believe it blindly. You have, that is why yesterday also I said, see, human insights are very, very crucial. AI is not to replace you, AI is there to assist you. So AI can give you initial patterns, right? But ultimately the decision has to be yours, that what you want to integrate, you can say, in your research, which themes you would like to integrate into your research and which you don't, right? So that is the most important part. So ultimately the researcher's decision will be final, right? You cannot, you can say, completely rely, you can say, on AI. Definitely not. All right, because when you like, I'll give you a simple example. I just recently got my one paper accepted on qualitative research only, so that paper is on work-life balance, right? So now, if I talk about that, all right. So if I talk about that, so you can say there, I was fixing some, you can say references. Now I gave that, okay, give me the correct references with the device on that. Now it gave me very beautiful references and all that. But then what I was supposed to do when I was having 15 around references, so I checked each one of them that whether DI is correct or not. Some were correct, some were not. That means you cannot leave your entire thing on AI. It is your job to verify that whatever the output chat GPT or any AI is given, any AI platform is given, you can say. So somewhere you can say like you have to check it. You have to verify it as a researcher. Okay, which is the best part during research for triangulation? So it all depends upon the kind of research that you are doing. In case you want to understand, for example, the consumer insights you want to get in a better way, right? And whether you want to understand the perspective of the various stakeholders, for example, in certain researches, so definitely the call and the quant research and the published LR that can work better. All right. So it all depends, as I told you, it all depends the kind of research that you are doing. So that will going to lay the foundation that, okay, here I would like to go with a particular kind of a triangulation, right? So now moving ahead. So again, so approach, what is an approach when I'm going for this mixed methodology? So largely when we go for qualitative, it's largely inductive. That is from, you can say specific to, you can say general, I would like to go, and from general to specific, right? So depth. Now, what is my goal for the qualitative? So that is depth. I want to understand, I want to generate hypothesis, which we can easily get tested with the help of quantitative. Setting is very, very natural where you are actually interviewing the participant. You are just trying to understand, you can say, where the person is stress free and he is having that kind of trust, and where the participant is giving you the actually the kind of data that you're looking at. Largely sampling, which is usually purposeful sampling, or you can say purposive, all right, or judgmental sampling, or the snowball, whatever suits better. Data collection is largely through interview and observation and iterative interpretation. See, when I talk about the coding in the next topic, so there I will tell you that, okay, how data analysis initially takes place and how the themes arises, right? And when I talk about the quantitative, largely deductive, I am having a lot of data. So I just keep on making it better. So from, you can say macro, I come to my micro, you can say, right? So goal is breadth because I'm having a large sample size. All right. It could be say, experimental design. It could be quasi. It could be, so largely we used to go for random sampling so that we can remove the bias, you can say. So what is a largely accepted, you can say, data collection tool? That is clinical surveys have been there, clinical data, survey administration, right? And the data analysis largely done with the help of statistical test and the modeling. That is largely we use. Now, this is what the best part is, that it provides me naturalistic setting when I go for call. I am going for inductive reasoning. So when I talk about the methodology part, you have to understand that these are the important part, right? Inductive reasoning, it helps me to get interpretation, the meaning making has been there. Richness and the depth of your study, you can say, get enhances and enriched. The flexibility is much, much better. The contextualization, as we discussed earlier, that when you want to study a particular context, definitely it gives you better insights. But yes, qualitative results are not objective like the quantitative results are. It is largely subjective because that is what you want to understand. Na? So everyone's reality is very different. Everyone's experience is very, very different. And that is why, because the lived in experiences, you can say, the meaning that people, the sense making mechanism of the various people is very, very different. And that is why the qualitative researches are not generalized. I'm making this statement. The qualitative researches are never, never generalized. It is just to understand the phenomena. It gives you an indication. So whatever the themes you are getting, so if you really want to generalize it, then you have to go. to the quantitative research where you have to collect the data from the larger population, and then you have to apply the statistical test to generalize it. You can say that too on a specific population, you can say in a particular domain, right? So these are certain limitations that also we have to understand. Now, these are qualitative research methods. When we talk about that, these are the four top techniques. The first is in-depth interviews. So even I will tell you that, okay, how you can design your own questionnaires, you can say, to collect the data, right? And then the first is in-depth interview. So I have framed certain questions. So I will show you some of my questions that I have made, that how they're linked to each other. And then observational research. So at times you can say the respondent, sorry, the researcher, they only observe that, okay, how people are behaving, what kind of work they are doing, and they're not asking questions, but they're simply observing. Observational techniques, right? Then there are focus groups. There can be case studies. So case studies could be a person, it could be an organization, it could be an event, right? So these are largely, you can say, the top four techniques that we largely use, you can say, in the call research, right? So largely when we go for the thematic analysis or whatever the kind of call research we go, observational research is somewhat, you can say, not that easy, because until unless you're very trained kind of a research call researcher, then it works very well for you. All right. Case studies, as you could see, it is also a different, all set a different game where you need to have that knack to understand of, you can say, particular organization from the micro and at the macro level, and then to understand the issue properly, and then to, you can say, understand the issue, and then coming to the understanding the phenomena, and then suggesting some measures. And the focus group, because you're having a larger pool of participants who are participating at the same time, so to record their responses, it's not that simple, right? So you need to have a better, you can say, tools so that you can capture, you can say, the responses. And that is why when I talk about the in-depth interviews, so definitely they all are having their pros and cons. So in-depth interviews, that means one-on-one you're having, but it's not that simple. That, okay, I have to take interview. So first of all, to get the appointment is very difficult. First of all, is access is very difficult. If you have any access, then to take the appointment is also not that easy, right? People are having different, you can say, uh, concerns they're having. All right, they're having a lot of apprehensions in their mind that, okay, he want to interview me, so what kind of study that person is doing, whether he will going to misuse the information that I will give. So they're having lot many things. So the first of all, the trust building is very, very important and essential, as I told earlier yesterday also. That is the first step, because until unless the person is comfortable, you can say, the respondent is comfortable with you. So definitely there will be no insights of the researcher. All right. So in case you really want to gain the better insights, so at times it happens for the in-depth interviews also. All right. It may take one sitting, two sitting, or three, or even four, depend. And at times it happens that even after four sitting, you're not getting the right kind of response that you are actually expecting. So this is very, very common. So at times to reach to the right kind of respondents becomes difficult. And that is why choosing the right kind of, you can say, technique becomes very, very important. And then, okay, so what is the need of validation of questionnaire or guide? See, definitely, when we talk about the questionnaire, see, I will going to discuss this in detail when I will going to come to the questionnaire designing. So I think we should keep this question for that particular time. But just to add, definitely the face validity has to be checked that, okay, whatever the kind of questionnaire you are making, whether it is actually serving the purpose of your research or not. So who will going to validate it? The experts will validate it. So definitely expert validity is important. But definitely Cronbach alpha and so such kind of things are not been there. That never happens, right? So experts in that particular domain helps you to validate the guide, or you can say the questionnaire that you have prepared to conduct the interviews. Next, what could be the qualitative research method? So as I told you, the depth interviews have been there. So it could be unstructured as in that you made some questions, but you are not going a particular pattern. Okay, first question one will be asked, and two and three and four and all that. That means you're not following a particular pattern as such. It is unstructured. So whatever the natural flow has been there, whatever is coming, you're just asking question, you're just recording it. Semi-structured, somewhat you can say is that, okay, you have framed certain questions, a certain guide, and you are following it. That is semi-structured, right? And at times it happens that when you start taking interview, so it happens that, okay, question fourth might be being asked, you can say, at the place of question sixth. The sixth is coming first, then fourth is going at the back side. So it all depends as per the flow, you can say, of the interview. At times the questions get jumbled up, right? But they should be linked. And then standardize, you can say. So standardize, that means you have made a questionnaire and then the people have to just write into it. And that's it. You collect that and then you analyze it. So focus groups. So there are at times dual moderators who moderate the sessions and where we try to understand, you can say, the kind of the responses which have been coming. So you might have seen so many news anchors. So they used to call so many people all together on the same show, and then they ask one question, and every person start talking about it. So at times it becomes a fish market. Nobody is able to understand. So try to moderate it, right? So that everybody stay on track. So dual moderator at times it happens, two-way it happens at times, and then mini groups have been formed so that you can effectively capture, you can say, the responses of the respondents, right? Projective techniques have been there, so association. So completion has been there, construction is there, expressive is there. So these are the projective techniques that generally you are using, you can say. These are psychometric, the psychometric tests are also been at times been used to understand, you can say, the psychology of the person. Especially during the recruitments, we largely at times use it. All right. All right. So with the interview, so somewhere you have to understand one thing that customers, or you can say the respondents and participants, are people and not pie chart, right? So you need to be very, very careful that when you are interacting with the people, so which method actually serves your research purpose. So research objectives basically design the kind of methodology you will going to opt for it. But also you have to see that, okay, is it feasible? The feasibility also has to be checked. Okay, so now these are the methodology that generally we are using. So I've already talked a lot about it. So I'm having, you can say, the research papers on all these designs, you can say. So I will be sharing the papers on this particular kind of research designs. So today only I will share it, but I request everyone that before coming for the tomorrow's session, please read those papers. Then only it will be helpful to you, right? Please don't mark anything on the screen, please, right? So phenomenological research has been there, narrative research has been there. Narrative research, how it is different, nothing is, it is different that, okay, when you have collected the respondents data, so whatever the you narrate as a respondent, you are narrating, you can say, the story, or you can say whatever the responses the you have received from the participants. All right. So you are narrating it in your own way, whatever the responses you have got. Ethnography, as I told you, it's all about the culture. It's all about the culture and the community. You want to understand that, okay, how they behave, how they live, and all that. Ethnicity or ethnography, right? Grounded theory research, as I told you, largely used for, you can say, generating theories. Action research, you can say, largely we are doing it. Why we are doing it? So that whatever the immediate problem we are having in our hand, we want to resolve it, and that is why action research is being taken. Phenomenological, to understand the phenomena, as simple as that. Now, these are the certain key qualitative methodologies that largely we are using. The ethnography, I've told you. Phenomenology, I've told you. Grounded theory, I've told you. Case study, I have discussed. Narrative inquiry has been there. Action research has been there. Discourse analysis. Now, there are a lot many, like for example, you have seen, I gave the example that, okay, there are a lot many tweets which are available on various platforms, right? For example, on X, some minister has put some comment, and then people used to write lot many things about it. Now, or for example, there is a speaker, he has talked about certain things. So what you're doing, you are trying to analyze the discourse. Okay, what the speakers have actually talked about, what kind of discourse they have given. And on the basis of the discourse, you can say you try to analyze and to identify the things that largely what they want to talk about. Like, for example, after Operation Sindoor, the Prime Minister Modi, he has given a, you can say a press release, you can press release was there, and he gave, you can say, address the nation. Now, the discourse that he has given, that was analyzed by the various news channels, you can say various intellectuals, that okay, what he want to convey, and they want to create out, make out some sense out of it, right? Then autoethnography has been there, where you would like to just similarly, that is, you can say, the extension part of ethnography that we are doing, autoethnography, right? Where we would like to understand, you can say, the phenomena, the ethnicity and the cultural aspect of the particular respondents. Now, when I talk about the ethnography, what it's all about, the first is I want to understand the cultural practices. I want to understand the behaviors within the community, right? I want to understand. So, what is the process? The process is immersive observation over time. Like, for example, you want to understand, for example, French people. So, what could be the methodology? You tell me. Phenomenology will be better or ethnography will be better? You can just put your remarks in the chat window. No, I'm not repeating it. You have to understand the, you can say, the methodologies properly, then only you can apply it in your research. Ethnography, correct. So that means I can just, as a researcher, what I can do, I can go and stay with those people. All right. I can observe them. I can immerse myself in that particular experience. And in that way, so participant observation, I can take the field notes. I can interview people. Now, what is an outcome? A rich contextual narrative describing cultural setting, that why people behave in a certain manner. I'll give you one context. The way people, the way Indians make decision and the way Americans make decision, is it same or it is different? You can just put your responses in the chat window, so that I can also understand that okay, you people are attentive. Is there a difference in the style or it is similar? Different, absolutely, because different cultures have been there, correct? So when I talk about these kind of things, so somewhere I have to understand that okay, why such things are been happening, because their cultures are different. Yes, ethno is time consuming. See, qualitative research takes a lot of time. It's not like quantitative that okay, you have made the questionnaire and then you got it. You can the data got collected and then you analyze it and you just went away. Because qualitative research, you have to get yourself immersed in the process. All right, and it is time taking because it is more in depth, right? And that is why it is time consuming. Yes, it is, right? So this is what you are getting. Now moving ahead. Process. Phenomenology, as I have discussed. So I want to explore and describe the individual lived experiences. Now see, there I want to understand the cultural aspect. Here I want to explore and describe individuals' lived in experiences, which are very, very personal, which I don't know, you don't know, because we have our own experiences. So if I am talking only about the lived in experiences, I'm talking about phenomenology. Why I'm using it? What is the process? I am trying to capture, you can say, the essence of a phenomena through participants' perspective, not as a researcher's perspective. Data collection could be reflective journals. Reflective journals are, that means we are having a diary writing habit. Many people are having diary writing habits. So with the help of diary writing, if I'm having someone's diary in my hand, if somebody daily writes a diary, can I get to know that what kind of person he or she is? Let me know your thoughts, please. Can we know something about that person? Yes, right? So, somewhat you have to understand the reflective journals and the in-depth interviews help me to better understand the person and his or her experience. Now, for example, I want to conduct a research, you can say, on transgenders. Now, in 2019, the government of India came out with the Transgenders Act 2019. So there are certain policies which they have made and certain law has been made for the transgenders. Now, if I really want to study that, okay, is there any change in the life of transgenders post this bill has came into existence? Which could be the better, you can say, methodology? Now, this is a question to everyone. Which methodology? Should I go for a case method? Whether I should go for phenomenology, whether I should want to go for a ethnography because I'm studying a community. Now you just understand these are certain things, and that is how you can say there's a difference because these are certain questions that should come to your mind when you're deciding about the particular methodology. Phenomenology. Okay. Why ethnography? Suppose you want to study the transgenders in India. Okay. So I can club ethno and phenomenology. Okay. But largely, if I want to understand their experience, so definitely phenomenology can help me in a better way. Why not case? Okay. So case could be, case is very specific. Somewhere you have to understand. Right? Because that is not actually capturing, you can say, the experience. It is capturing the dilemma. I'll give you that. I'll show you the example of the papers which are published and then you will understand better. So understanding the meaning and significance of the phenomena is very, very essential, and that is a phenomenology I'm going to use. Then coming to the grounded theory, it helps me to develop a ground theory grounded in collected data. All right. So that is why I'm using grounded theory. So there's one paper recently published. I will share that with you. That is in A category. So one of my, you can say, like a friend, she has published that. So iterative process of coding and constant comparison actually helped me to actually come to that particular themes that have been there and then proposing a particular theory out of it. So what could be the best part of the data collection is I can go for interviews, I can go for focus groups, I can go for observations, right? What could be the expected outcome? A conceptual framework that is explaining a social process that, okay, why certain, what kind of, there is a phenomena that we're experiencing, but why that phenomena is happening? Is there any theory that explains that phenomena? So that theory will going to emerge, that will going to explain that social process with the help of grounded theory research. Now, moving to the next part, that is a case study. I am investigating a phenomena in a real life context. For example, I hope a lot of you have read the cases about a particular organization like IV, HBR cases, and lot many other platform case centers and all that. They publish, you can say, case studies, right? What I want to understand there's a dilemma. Dilemma could be regarding decision making, or there is a particular situation or context which has been given. And then it has been asked that, okay, what should be the way forward? What kind of decision they could make? What kind of policy they could make? All right. What kind of policy they can make? What kind of things they can do so that the problem which has been there, you can say, in the case that can be sorted out. Case study. So what could be one thing? So like there are lot many cases which are like written on Byju's. There are lot many cases which have been written, you can say, on the real time, you can say organizations and entrepreneurs, right? So what could be the methodology? Interviews. Documents could be like, for example, balance sheets, P&L accounts, all right? The kind of, and any other document which are related to the organization, right? Then archival records have been there. The outcome could be that I want to understand the comprehensive insights and broader implications I want to understand. But that is very specific to an organization, to a case or an event. Like, for example, I want to study about a particular company, especially during COVID. So I am specifically very focused on a particular, because see, it's a situation, it is very, very contextual. You cannot generalize case study. It is not possible. But you can gain a lot of learning out of it. That is why I go for case study. So see, every methodology is having its own purpose. It is having their own idea. Let's move ahead. Okay, let me just check the question. Okay, is that a case study is for studying something special about an individual and phenomenology is for generalizing? See, as I told you, we cannot generalize, you can say qualitative research. You cannot. It's all about that what is the purpose. Like for example, you are an entrepreneur. I want to study your entrepreneurial journey, for example. So what I will do, I will like to study, okay, what kind of organization you're running, how you started, evolution, how you are growing over the years. I'm having the data, you can say, the sales figure, the growth pattern, the profit that has been there, right? The kind of issues and challenges that you have faced. So basically, somewhere I can learn something from my entrepreneurial journey, and somewhere it also posing a question in front of you can say the readers, you can say, or the learners, that okay, what kind of insight you can, what kind of insights you can gain from this kind of cases. So there are certain situations which may be applicable, which may not be applicable because every case is very different. But somewhere it gives me insights. That is why I would like to go for case study. Okay. If I have a theory which I want to prove, then first I will have to make a qualitative study. No. If you want to develop a theory, then you have to go for grounded theory. But in case the theory is already existing, so then you can integrate it with qualitative study. I'll show you how to do that. Okay. All right. If you can't generalize, yes, you can't generalize. You can't generalize because the sample size is very small, 10, 15, 25 max. So can you generalize? You can say the study which is conducted on 20, 25, even less at times it happens, or even there are PhDs which are happening on the qualitative researches where even you have taken two cases and you are just doing your entire PhD. Like in tests, it happens. So it all depends on what kind of study you are picking up. That's what I told you. But yes, for generalizing it, I have to move, you can say, into quantitative domain. So qualitative is the first step. And then I have to move to the quantitative if I'm really interested to generalize it. But that too for a particular population, not for entire everyone. You can predict. See, it's not about prediction, it's all about understanding the phenomena. So somewhere it gives me a direction. Okay, and with the help of that particular direction, I can pave the way and accordingly I can make my policies and strategies. Somewhere it give me the insights. That is why I'm going for these kind of researches. What if you're proposing a model, which is the best tool to make a model on and which method? See, it happens both ways. If you are interested in creating a very novel theory, grounded theory, for that, qual research is very good. But in case there is an already existing theory and you want to add some new dimension to it, so definitely with the help of quantitative research, you can do that. So we are having different kind of ways of doing the research, right? There are not many researches which have been available where you're trying to add something new dimension to it and you said that okay, this is an improvisation in the existing theory. So it all depends at how you want to move ahead. Okay, so these are certain things that I can go with narrative inquiry. So I am analyzing life stories to understand meaning making. Like for example, if you really want to, I'll give you a very recent example and you just think about all this. In the Pahalgam incident, the survivors, they saw the death in front of them. They saw their loved ones losing their lives in front of them. Now, if you want to analyze the life stories of the victims, you can say the survivors, for example. So, what you are doing, you are collecting and you're interpretation of personal narratives. Now, you are connecting. So, what you are doing, you are doing life history interviews, for example. You are doing a storytelling, says that this is what is happening, this is what has happened, all right, and this is a kind of experience, this is what the sentiment, this is a kind of emotions that people have displayed. So you're doing a kind of a storytelling. Like for example, there are documentary at times we used to watch. So for example, the Titanic survivors, they were interviewed. Lot many documentaries have been there, right? So, and you might be seeing that with the Titanic has been largely, there's a one lady which has been interviewed. So she was a survivor there at that point of time. So that's a storytelling, life history. So you're narrating. That is why I am using narrative inquiry. So I'm having my paper on this technique also. I'll share that with all of you. So the outcome is coherent narratives that is reflecting personal and cultural meanings. So that means you are adding a meaning to it, whatever the storytelling in a storytelling manner. So I'll just after that, then action research. So for example, bring about change while studying its impact. So largely the OD experts have been there to cyclical process of planning, action and observation and reflection. So largely you're taking interviews, you're taking observations, you are taking surveys, practical solution and improvements. I'll give you one recent example. Now, the Delhi Metro, they are starting a service, or that will going to they will going to soon launching a service where the travelers will going to get the information that okay, which course is having the, you can say, lot of passengers, or you can say maximum passengers, and which coaches are empty, so that accordingly they can like they can enter into the coaches accordingly. Now, this is a action research basically. That means as a traveler, I'm not understanding that which coach I should move in, right? But in case I'm having this information that okay, the coach 6 is having this much capacity, so the passengers can route themselves to that particular coach and they can enter into there. So that means what you can do, you can easily do, you can say the traffic management can be done easily. So this is what kind of research is this? This is action research or academic research? Think for yourself. This is action research, because somewhere I want to bring in, what I'm trying to bring in is that I am trying to bring some solution to the problem that I'm facing. So interviews, observations, surveys, these are way. Now, for example, the companies. So what kind of researches companies are doing? They are doing action research. They are collecting data from the customers, right? Okay, are you liking the product? What kind of issues you are having? So at times you're getting surveys, right? When you're making a purchase, you can say, so you are getting a survey, kindly just give your valuable feedback. What are the reasons? So that they can improvise their product and services. This is largely for the action research has been used. Practical solution and improvements. Okay, let me just check what kind of question has been there. Okay, pilot study in qualitative research is that, okay, like for example, you want to initiate, right? So what you can do, you can conduct 1 or 2 interviews and then you can see that what kind of insights you are getting. Now, after 1 and 2 interviews, you got to know that, okay, what kind of research objective I was having, but am I getting the right kind of responses? Will it going to suffice my research objective? And then accordingly, what I'm doing? I am changing, you can say, my study, you can say the questionnaire or the schedule that I'm making, right? I am making it better so that I can get the better responses. I will going to work a little bit upon, you can say, the interview technique so that I can get the best responses. I need to a little bit rework, especially you can say that am I reaching the right kind of respondents? So definitely after conducting 1 or 2, so something is missing, I can add it and then I can go before winding up, or you can say completing all my interviews. Actually, this quantitative is you can say collab. It is a combination of both, quantitative also, qualitative also. It's mixed at times. So discourse analysis analyze language used to understand power dynamics and the social structures, like generally for the politics, you can say process that is examination of communication in various contexts. तो आप जैसे देखते हैं sentiment analysis, tweet analysis हम करते हैं. तो ये जो सारी चीजें होती हैं इसका पास हम पार्ट होता है, तो जिसमें हम टेक्स्ट को करते हैं कलेक्ट, ट्रांसक्रिप्ट होती हैं, मीडिया कंटेंट होता है जो आपके न्यूज़पेपर्स आर्टिकल्स होते हैं, आप इन सबको पढ़ते हैं, आप उसको एक सेंस मेकिंग बनाते हैं, यू ट्राई टू क्रिएट अ स्टोरी आउट ऑफ इट. तो दिस इज डिस्कोर्स एनालिसिस. सो इनसाइट्स इनटू सोसाइटल नॉर्म्स एंड डिस्कोर्सेस. आपको कभी कभी इंडिया में लगता होगा यार इतनी छोटी सी बात हो गई. लाइक आई वाज लिसनिंग टू वन Decode को मैं सुन रहा था, that I was listening to one event. So in that they were talking about it. Okay, when Pahalgam incident happened, entire country was having you can say that kind of anger that okay, we need to take a revenge and all that. But when the same kind of thing happened in Murshidabad, where you can say the Hindus are in minority, all right, and when they were targeted, or you can say such things happened, but nobody said anything. So why such kind of things have been there? Why the responses you can say towards both the events are so different. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So these are certain, you can say, kind of researches. These are certain kind of topics that I have to understand that why people behave. Now you will get see in both the incidents, people are getting killed. Na? They have been targeted. But why people, you can say, behave differently or they respond differently? Like for example, when the same-sex marriage, you can say, case went to Supreme Court, people were having different kind of notions. They have different kind of perspective. Somebody were for it, somebody was against it. And then the Supreme Court said that, okay, this is for the government to decide. They need to come with a policy and all that. But we can make certain recommendations. So now you can see India itself is a so much diverse country. So when you pick up various topics have been there, all right. So how the people's life is getting affected, you can say, and what kind of responses are coming from the people, it is unpredictable. At times, a small thing becomes so big, and at times the big thing becomes so small. So you don't know, right? And these kind of insights that why such things are happening, why such things comes in. So for that, qualitative research helps me to gain better understanding into all these aspects. Autoethnography explore personal experiences. For example, you might have seen personal vlogs. There are so many travelers. One like Jyoti Malhotra, she is also very famous now for the all wrong reasons, right? So she is traveling. She was traveling and she was sharing the personal experiences and talking about the cultural. So that how was my experience and all that. Self-reflection and analysis of personal narratives. So generally, when you study on autobiography of a particular author, what they're basically talking about? Tell me, what they're talking about? My reflections with truth, my experiments with truth. महात्मा गांधी जी की आपकी ऑटोबायोग्राफी है. So what he has talked about? Personal experiences, personal narratives, journals, reflections. At times, the diaries, journals हम diaries को बोलते हैं जो आप डायरी राइटिंग करते हैं. Reflections, note जो आप लिखते हैं. And then we try to connect the personal insights with the broader social context. And that is why you might have seen so many political speakers have been there. They at times quote, you can say the novels, the autobiographies of the prominent personalities about their lives and all that. Okay, in that particular book, this has been quoted and this is on record. Autoethnography. And we try to bring out a lot of meaning out of it. I think no, it's not about phenomena. Discourse and yes, we see somewhere I want to understand the underlying phenomena, and ultimately I want to understand the phenomena itself in entire qualitative research. But what, but how I want to approach it, what I want to study. So whether I'm talking about experience, whether I'm talking about a particular case, what is my nature, you can say, what is the research objective? See, my research objective will definitely going to talk, you can say, my research objective will going to decide at what kind of methodology will going to work. Is your if your religion teaches to hate you, you need another religion. Okay. Yeah. See, it's all depend. That is what I talk about. Na? It all depends. All right. It all depends ki like what kind of personal you can say aspects people are having. That is why I said it's not about religion, it's all about the mindset somewhere, right? So what I am doing it, I am giving you different kind of situations so that you can understand that we are experiencing all these things, right? We are seeing all these things, but at times the responses are very, very different. So why? For that, call research can give you the better insights. Let me just wind up. So choosing the right methodology. So what could be the one thing that I can go for? First is research objectives. What kind of research objectives I'm having? What is the nature of the phenomena that I want to explore? All right. Whether I want to go for specific or generic. Level of participant involved. The what kind of involvement I want from the participant. Right. And then tip is align methodology with the research questions. So it all depends on your research questions, the kind of methodology you will going to adopt, right? Now, see, this is a particular tree that I have prepared. Just take some time and just Read it. In the base, it is given data type. The first is interviews only, second is documents only, and the combination, that is the third one. So where, what is used and why, it is somewhat you can say. So summarizing, you can say qualitative analysis approach of selection flowchart. So whatever I have discussed, you can say it is a summary of the entire thing. Now see, data type, interviews. I want to develop theories based on participants' perspective. So what I will go for, my research aim is, so I will use grounded theory. Research design will be grounded theory. What I want to do it, analysis का aim क्या है? Yield theory by iterative data collection analyzed with theoretical sampling. Theoretical sampling is all about that, okay, this largely been used in grounded theory. Now, I want to understand the phenomena that is the experienced and the interpreted by the participant. So what is better suitable phenomenology? How do I do it? Develop individual textual and structural description, textual structural description and set of emergent themes. Okay. Then understand individual experience based on their descriptions. Now, that is the descriptive general qualitative. You can understand. So modified Van-Cam analysis, I can go for thematic analysis. So phenomenology works well. If I want to understand the complex phenomena based on participants' life stories, okay, if you really want to understand the soldiers' life who fought, you can say India-Pak war or India-China war, and you want to understand their life stories, what could work better? Now see, narrative analysis. So if you really want to go for descriptive general quality to identify emergent themes and sub-themes in the data, content analysis you can go for if you want to develop categories with frequency, counts, and occurrence within the data. That okay, this is what when we do coding, this content analysis is done. Narrative analysis has been done when I want to analyze the structure and content of stories. Discourse analysis when I would like to go for to develop understanding when I talk about life stories. Now, combination where I'm using combination when I go for ethnography. Understanding social and cultural phenomena as experienced by members of a particular population or a group. And then I want to go for a case study if I really want to understand the complex process as they occur naturally in the bounded group or settings that I told you situation or a context. So identify emergent themes and sub-themes, assess degree of convergence across data sources, analyze written or spoken language as it relates to social process, and then discuss the textual analysis, thematic analysis. So when to use what? This has been given. So if you people have understood this particular chart, please just put your comments in the chat window. And in case if there is any doubt, please just put in a chat. Yes, yes, it is very much conducted. I will share the papers, Sonia, so you will be able to understand it. I'll take it one by one. Now, could you see this? Qualitative, unit observation 1 or 2 plus. I want to go for breadth or depth. Depth, presenting, build. So what? So see, what I want to do. Qualitative or quantitative. So when I have to decide unit of observation, how many breadth or depth I want to study, presenting or implementing, building or testing theory and the research method that could be used. So you can see whosoever is just doing this sketching, please just don't do it, please. So you can see if I want to study the breadth or depth, presenting or if you want to go for the presentation, I can build theory or I can test theory. So I can go for single case study or I can go for grounded theory. If I want to test something, I can go for single case study. If I want to implement something that is building and testing, I can go for action research. If I want to go in depth, I want to study about a particular ethnic group, so I can go for ethnographic research. If I want to 2+ more units I want to study, I can go for building and testing. I can use multi case studies. I can use grounded theory and I can use multi case study method. So this is how I can actually decide which methodology works well for me. But as I told you, your research objective is the first thing that will help you to decide about the methodology. So these are the data collection and the analysis techniques, interviews, And focus groups again. And the analysis methods are thematic analysis. I can go where I can identify the themes. Then second is coding and then categorization. All right, into themes and then sub themes. Then constant comparison if I really want to go for the grounded theory. So it all depends at which method I would like to go for and what is my research objective. And this is what you're asking, that what is largely recommended. So this is what for the qualitative methods: in-depth interviews, focus, ethnographic, case studies. So in various qualitative method, what is the recommended sample size? As you could see, case studies 1 to 10, ethnography 5 to 15, focus group 4 to 6, in-depth interviews 10 to 30, grounded theory 20 to 60, narrative 5 to 15, phenomenological 5 to 25. Now to see the total time required: 30 to 90 minutes, 60 to 120, weeks to months. Ethnographic takes longer time, weeks to months again. The case study also several months, weeks to months. Narrative again 60 to 120, several weeks. Now this is just suggestive thing. Till the time you get the data saturation, you have to continue with it. But largely it happens that data saturation happens depending on the kind of methodology you are adopting for your own self. So I hope this chart is helpful to all of you, all right, somewhat in choosing the kind of method for your own research, all right, and then choosing the sample size and the type of the total time required. Please clear the scribblings on the screen. I can't do it. I think the organizers can do it and somebody is continuously doing it. When to use interview and when to use focus groups. See, uh, if you want to study, you can understand, you can say a particular phenomena about a certain thing. So you can have collective, you can go for focus group because you want to understand a particular thing from a different perspective. Like for example, uh, what is the perspective of people in Operation Sindoor, for example? You can go for focus group. But if I really want to go for personal experiences, for example, then you have to go for phenomenology, that is in-depth interviews. So these are the challenges. You have to take care of it. Subjectivity is there, bias is there. So you have to make sure that these are not impacting your research. Then generalizability, definitely you can do it. It is very time intensive. You have to, a lot of rigor is to be there. And you need to be very, very ethical when you are conducting research. You are not supposed to share any details of the participant, or you can say the respondents who are involved in the study, because that can impact their well-being. So you need to be very, very sensitive. You need to be very, very sensible, and you need to take the permissions, required permission if it has been there, if it is applicable. So these are certain challenges we need to work upon. So conclusion is, they provide you deep insights. Each method suits different research objectives. Careful selection ensures meaningful outcomes. Final thought is, understanding the human experience goes beyond numbers. And that is why I'm going for qualitative research. So this is all about from my side regarding the methodology part. And I hope I was able to clear, you can say, a lot of doubts that you might be having, but you have to study more about it in case you really want to understand it. So now any questions have been there, then I can take it. Then I like to show you some questions, like some papers which I'm having. So let me just take my paper first now. Let me start with the case study first. Okay, I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Organizers, can you just please remove these ticks and all that, the scribbling which has been done? Okay, so this is a case study about an NGO, that is Astitva and Unsustainable Social Entrepreneurship Journey. I hope it is visible. Okay, Masuma to everyone. Just wait. Okay. So now this is the case study which is written on a particular NGO. So this now you could see, first of all, Astitva. I will share all these papers with you so that you can just go through it. So this is a case study about non-profit organization which has been run. So Astitva is the name of an NGO. It is an NGO and non-profit organization which is run by Anamika Yaduvanshi in 2013. And they talked about the objective of the NGOs and all that about little bit and where it works. That is in Wazirpur area in Delhi. Now the research question is, the aim of this particular study is to explore the nuances of social entrepreneurship. Can you see the research questions? This is the aim. Now it explores that there should be a balanced approach between social activities that are mostly provided free and generation of surplus to sustain them. The research question answered are, has Astitva created a long-term sustainable impact on the lives of marginalized women and children at Wazirpur? Does the business model of Astitva places even stress on the social activities to engage the participants? Now they have used one theory also, and there was a question. So the study is based on the business model canvas of Osterwalder and Pigneur. That is a theory which was given in 2010. And the model explains the social enterprises should maintain a balance between philanthropy and commercial sense. So now you can say, phenomena studied. She wanted to make a contribution. All right. So case context, as you could see, angle from the business findings and the discussions they have done. So this is the, you can say the introduction. They have talked about that what social entrepreneurship is all about. And this is little bit literature they have given. And this is the model that has been given, that is partners, activities, resources, expenditures, distribution channels, and the revenue stream. That is coming from the theory itself. Now you could see old school corporation, new school of conscious entrepreneurs, old schools not for profits, and the social impact. And then they have talked about the case. So now they have given the background of the case, what the case is all about, what she wanted, but today she is contemplating why Asif is not as successful as she hoped. So now you want to understand the reasons behind it. So you have an interview, you can say with the founder, and with the founder now, whatever she has told, that has been documented. Asif Mujhse Meri Pehchan, this is the name of an NGO. Now, ultimately, you can see in this particular case, so on the basis of the interview, whatever they have done, so findings, they talk about need for committed team, activities conducted by the team Astitv. So these are the various activities that are conducted by Astitv, Swabhalamban, like Samanvay, Swachhata, Samaj, Samman. These are 5 activities largely they are doing. And then what they are doing, if Anamika, so now they are doing the profit versus impact. Now see, if Anamika had So if Anamika had worked on D metrics, then Aswit would have been sustainable business impact. So they are just aligning it with the help of particular theory. So focus, they talked about, see all this, and then they come to discussion and see how they have put the various activities which they have conducted, you can say, in the NGO in that particular theory. Can you see this? Business model of Aswit based on Osterwalder and Pigneur. These are the partners. What Astitva? Now they have put the Astitva activities into this particular theory, and this is what the addition they have done. And then they have talked about, you can say, the journey ahead, and they have given a declaration. See what the declaration is all about. No potential control of interest with respect to the research, authorship, or publication of this particular article. And this is what they have done. See, these are the various activities, what they have done, and how they are doing it. These are the various categories. What is an outcome? What the kind of activities they are doing? And what is an outcome? What is a place? What kind of activity? You can say what is an outcome? You can say event, Samanvay, outcome. You can see they have talked about in detail whatever has been there. So this is a certain example. So see, now these are the references, notes. So when they are writing a case study, so these are the particular documents which they have basically talked about. Samanvay means social inclusion. They have given that, okay, what a particular term means. And these are the particular references which they have you to utilize. And definitely a lot of, you can say, interviews and all these things have happened in this particular uh, case study. So I will be sharing this today itself, please. So you are requested to kindly just go through it. Then second, I'll just take my paper. So this is a paper regarding entrepreneurship education. Entrepreneurship, higher education and training in Indian higher education, and we have suggested a framework. Now see, this is the study that evaluate the components of entrepreneurship education and the training in India. So somewhat we are trying to propose a framework for an effective ET regime. So what we have used qualitative research, uh, that is narrative inquiry methodology based on in-depth interviews. The study respondent includes 16 educators who are actively engaged in entrepreneurship, you can say entrepreneurship education and training. All right. And the five broad themes have emerged. And then what we have suggested, all right, we have talked about it. So these are the themes that have emerged, that is incremental pedagogical efficiency, flexible evaluation systems, entrepreneurial experience of the faculty, extended support, holistic mentoring and experiential learning, which came from the interviews. So this is a literature that has been done. And then let me just come to the interview. Now see, this is the things that we are doing. Figure 1, diamond framework that has been utilized. Now sample, we have now talked about the research methodology, as you could see. And we have discussed that why we have gone for narrative inquiry, right? What is the reason for it that we have talked about, right? So content and reflection we have used, that is called narrative inquiry. What kind of sample was given, from where it has been taken, right? What was the criteria for selecting this sample? Everything is being mentioned here. Data collection and analysis, and we have mentioned semi-structured questionnaire was utilized. And these are the prompting questions. What are the pedagogical tools and techniques that have been used in delivering the entrepreneurship curriculums? What are your suggestions to improve, you can say, the outcomes of each in terms of student startups? And now see, the researchers stopped the data collection after achieving theoretical saturation. See, we have written that, right? What is the analysis process? So related codes were gathered into themes that help identify critical concepts. Now, these are first theme that emerged from the interviews. First is this one. And this is the verbatims of participants. Whatever they have said, we have kept it. Right? We have kept it. If a student is not a good at rote learning, but is splendid. So these are the actual quotes which are coming from the participant. So these are basically, you can say, the terms, or you can say the verbatims actually helps to vouch whatever you are claiming. So when you're talking about this particular theme, so to support this particular theme, you have to give verbatims, you can say, as an evidence. And that is what has been done. Entrepreneurial, and finally, this is how it has been done. And this is on the based, this is the model that we have, this is the framework that we have proposed in this particular research paper. I hope this is somewhat clear. So what I'll do, I'm just little bit giving an example that narrative inquiry, why is used and where is been used. Let me come to the other portion also so that you can understand. Now let me come to the next part. Wait for me. Now this is one more paper, Barriers and Drivers of Social Entrepreneurship, Qualitative Insight from Indian Social Entrepreneurs. Now in this, what we have used, I have used IPA. We have interviewed 15 social entrepreneurs, and accordingly, when I will be sharing this particular paper, so I will be like, you will going to see that, okay, how we have mentioned the different kind of So these are the research objectives, methodology we have discussed, research design we have discussed. These are my own papers. So theme one, challenges faced. So these are two major themes, and under major themes we have put. So you can see these are the conceptual model, first order concept, second order. This is basically done in the coding part, and then the final themes. So these are the, under these we have put lot many things, right? These are first order construct, second order constructs, and the final constructs that we have used. So, and you could see these are the basically the comments that are coming from the various respondents that we have put here. All right. So different papers, and I'll show you one more. This was the paper I was talking, chapter I was talking about, case study interviews caring for persons with AIDS. So this is about that particular, you can say, domain where they have discussed. And when you will going to read it, they have used largely narrative inquiry into it. So when you will going to read it, now a kind of a story just comes in front of you and you can visualize it the way they have written it. And that is the beauty, you can say, of especially when you talk about the qualitative research. So I will be sharing all these things in this. They have used lot many cases, all right, which they have used. So see, can you see this? Multiple case study approach to discover the effects of AIDS on family members responsible for care of the person with AIDS. So this is a case study method. Uh, Let me come to my papers. Let me just give me a second. This is my recently published paper of 2025, which I published on maternity benefit. All right. This is a qualitative, and this I have used IPA technique. So you can see, and I have used a theory also in this particular paper, that is a social exchange theory. And here we have interviewed 28 respondents, right? And what the paper is all about, the study includes, you can say the study looks on how many maternity leave, that how maternity leave impacts employees' understanding of their rights, potential hiring, discrimination and perception of support from managers and colleagues applying social exchange theory. What is the purpose? The study aims to examine the perception of female employees and employers in India, focusing on the Maternity Benefit Act 2017. And I'll just come to, I will be sharing this. So part is that you have to study all these and come. So this is the model that we have prepared based on the interviews. So these are the themes that have emerged. This is the social exchange theory, and then the overall work outcomes they're impacting. So samples, sampling, lot many things. You can say demographic profile of respondent we have also mentioned. So in this you can see, as I told you, there is no description that from where a particular respondent is coming. Can you identify? You can't. So that means I have disguised, you can say, the confidentiality I have put. So I am not actually disclosing, you can say, the identity of any, you can say, respondent over here. Now the resultant findings, the process which I have followed, the what are the steps that has been followed, and then I have given the various themes, and then one by one you can see whatever the comments that were coming from the participants, I have put their verbatims over here. And then finally I came, you can say, to the last, that is implication sections and all that. So these are largely built done. And last, I will show one more. This is also a recent paper, a study of C-suite leaders, individuals affecting, and this is based on grounded theory. Now you can see, using grounded theory, research we explored whether leaders use their individualist or collectivist decision-making style. So whatever the methods I have talked about or talked today, I have shown you different kind of papers here. Now there's another task for everyone. I will be sharing all these papers with you. You are requested to kindly go through them first. Try to read. If you're not understanding it completely, that's perfectly fine. But at least read them and then come to the session so that you can better understand them. Right? So I talked about grounded, I talked about IPA, I talked about narrative inquiry, I talked about cases, I talked about multiple cases, right? So these are certain papers which you can definitely go through for a better understanding and to understand the methodology better, right? And see, they have also shown that how they have done the coding. So I'm not just rushing. So see, they have also given sample characteristics and this is a particular, you can say the first order concept, second order concept, overlapping dimensions, which I've shown you earlier also. And this is how, and this is a framework that they have suggested. So let me just little bit elaborate it. So this is what they have done. And they have written author's own work, right? So as you can, you have seen these different kind of research papers. So one thing is very clear. Your research objective basically decides that what kind of method you will going to use in your research, right? So and now I'm stopped sharing it. So any questions have been there? Please let me know. Okay, so let me just go to your chats now. Uh, Let me start from the last one. Okay, what is the possibility? The possibility is, see, 100% you cannot, you can say reduce the biases, but yes, definitely, whatever the data is coming, now just report that. Don't add your own flavor to it. Flavor as in the sense that, okay, I am having a certain notion towards some a certain thing. Keep that aside. And that is why when two or three people are coming together and when they are doing coding and when they are doing research and they are coming to the findings, right? That times the possibility of biases goes away. All right. And that is why, so when the two or three researchers, they do separate coding, when they do data analysis on their own, so definitely then in a better way, you can understand, you can say, and the bias gets reduced. But if you're doing it all alone and you're having a certain mindset, all right. So see, we have to understand we are not the media people, right? We are researchers. So whatever the kind of analysis we are getting from our data, we need to provide that, right? How to present the data in a paper publication. So I will be sharing that, I think, Padma, right? So many papers I have already shown you. So I will be sharing all these papers with you people. Kindly go through it and just see that how the data is being shown here. All right, how it has been shown. Okay, and then how to reduce possibility of bias. If my population is Gen Z, what should be my sample size to justify? See, as I told you earlier also, qualitative research cannot be generalized. Please understand. Your sample size is too small. You cannot do that. If you want to generalize for that, you have to go for quantitative. The first step could be qualitative, but the second step could be quantitative or a mixed methodology. Then only you can generalize it, otherwise you can't. Own flavors, okay, in case you are doing observational research, so whatever observation is all about, definitely here your understanding of the phenomena, your understanding of the concepts which comes in. So better thing is that first of all understand the various perspective in an unbiased manner, in an objective manner. In that way, when you're objective in your approach, definitely the bias can be removed. AI driven, please highlight it. As in, as I told you, now let's go to ChatGPT now, for example. I'll just show you one thing. Now, okay, any one of you, all the participants, give me any one particular topic on which you want to research. Quickly, I'll pick one. Any particular topic that you, okay, nutrition. Okay, can you little bit elaborate it? Okay, impact of songs on daily life. Okay, chalo, let's take this impact of, okay, migration and urban culture, why women do not take iron, impact of dialysis. Okay, so like for example, let me take about one. Suggest a qualitative research methodology for a topic impact of songs on our daily lives. I think this was the topic. Let me just little bit one more time. I can just check it. Impact of songs on daily life, right? Now see, and let me just quickly just check it. Phenomenological. It is suggesting phenomenological. So now I want your comments. You can say in the chat window and let me know what you feel. Rationale is correct or not? It is suggesting phenomenological approach because somewhere they want to understand the individual experience and interpret the influence of songs on their everyday lives, right? And they want to capture, you can say, the subjective, emotional, contextual. Now, the research design, what they are saying is to explore how individual perceive and experience the impact of songs in shaping moods, behavior, routines, and social interactions in daily life. Can this be the top title? Yes, it can be. What could be the an ideal one? 15 to 20, right? So varied age groups. So jitna like the larger the heterogeneity in your participants, the better will be the results. Musical preferences. Now, and what is it? Purposive sampling. Okay. So in-depth structured interviews focus on questions such as can you describe a time when the song significantly changed your mood? These are the triggering question or the starting questions. Okay, how does influence? How does it influence the routine activities? These are certain questions. Now, these are not only two questions that you're going to ask. There are many questions that you would like to ask for your particular research. Optionally, audio or diary entries where participants record when and why they listen to songs. Like for some people say that, okay, whenever I'm sad, I listen to this particular song. When I'm very happy, I listen to this particular song. Why? Or I can go for, and what they suggest, thematic analysis I can go. That is Colizzi or Mustakas approach. All right, Mustakas to identify recurring themes such as emotional regulation. Alternatively, what could be alternative? I can go for narrative inquiry. That means I can focus on personal stories. I can go for ethnography. That means somebody like Carnatic music, some like Sufi, some like Ghazal, some like something. So observing music practices within subculture or community, for example, gym goers, public transport users. So see, these are different things. Grounded theory, if the goal is to develop a theory on how or why people integrate songs into their routines, I can go for it. So does it make sense? Okay, so now any questions, people? Okay, the papers which I have shown you, they are in ABDC category Q1, Q2, SSCI journals. See, all depends on you. How to publish an article, write a good article, and if it is compelling enough and contributing to the literature, definitely it is going to get published. So, any other questions before I just wind up this particular session? Any questions? The reliability, see, I have already told you, we will going to talk about the qualitative research. See, only expert validity has been there, all right, which largely we go through when we want to check the, you can say validity, and that too have that is of the qualitative research questionnaire that you make. There is no other way to check the qualitative. No, it's not required. You can do it manually also. It's not needed. So when I will come to the coding and all that, now I will show you that how you can use chat GPT, you can say for the coding and all other parts. So today was largely I was focusing to say the kind of methodology that we can utilize. So see, so whatever I could see, mixed methods, you can say, is a combination of qualitative and the quantitative research, right? Triangulation is different. Triangulation, mixed methodology, in mixed methodology, you can use triangulations, right? No other further questions, I think, so then we can. Okay, so there is one book, UE Flick, that is from the Sage Publications. UE Flick. You can refer to that book on qualitative research. That is good book. So you can go for that. So all the very best and see you tomorrow then. And I hope, sir, please unmute me. Okay. Let me just check because I have enable annotation. Okay. So stop sharing it. More. Masuma.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. So, participants are asking to repeat the book again. Please spell it
UE
again.
Flick. UWI UE Flick. This is the name of the book.
Okay, sir. So I think we will wind up the session now. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for the insightful and engaging session. And I'm sure the participants found it truly valuable and gained a lot of from your expertise. Thank you, all the participants, for your active involvement. And looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow evening in the next session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.